Hey everybody, welcome to a spoiler review with me and good old King Kansas. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Scotty. I'm still breathing. I survived this movie.
Good. Alright, so as you guys know, there's a lot of hate towards Transformers the last night. And let's just say we don't know what they're smoking because it wasn't a bad movie at all.
Guys, the King has seen a lot more movies that are worse than what the hell we supposedly saw in Transformers 5. I'll tell you, one little film called Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. Like, if you're going to say one really sucks,
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
So, like I said, we don't know what these critics are smoking. It wasn't a bad movie. Yes, there could have been improvements.
Yeah, it wasn't like an amazing film. Oh my God, Scotty, we jumped out of our seats, right?
Yeah, and at the end, we'll give our rankings towards where this Transformers fits.
Exactly. We'll give our honest opinions, guys. We're not afraid to say what we feel, and that not everybody else is going to be shaming us or whatever. Trust me, I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm not that kind of person. I don't think Scotty's like that, too.
No.
Got a little morals and classy over here. Anyways.
All right. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, save this video and then come back.
Yes, there'll be a little spoiler thing that Scotty's going to try and post at the beginning.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, save this video, come back after.
Exactly.
So you guys have been warned. So the movie opens up with the medieval times with King Arthur and Merlin.
That's right. That scene that you guys seen in the trailer.
Yeah. So as everybody expected, that was the opening sequence. They were going into war with some other barbarian
barbaric tribe that was trying to take over that part of England, and they were the last line against them. Right, Scott?
Right. And King Arthur and his army was like, "Where's Merlin? We need these magical troops," or whatever they said. He's like, "Have faith. Without sacrifice, there's no victory." A little hint to the Witcher trilogy there, right? And then Merlin went to go see Dragonstorm, and Dragonstorm gave him a staff. The dialogue between Merlin and the Dragonstorm, there were some funny moments there. Can't lie. Stanley Tucci. I didn't even realize that was Stanley Tucci.
Because I seen him with hair before, Scotty, so I kind of caught that. But yeah, no, the dialogue was good. It was typical Michael Bay. So I think that's what a lot of people, maybe you would say strike number one for a lot of people were crying, "Oh my God, here we go. Another stupid movie."
I laughed. I found it funny.
It was good. For me, Scotty, like the only thing I'm going to say about that, if you want to say about to me, it took away maybe the seriousness of what was going down with King Arthur and his knights.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But other than that, I'm not crying about it. Like, come on, man.
It was fine. It was well directed. It was well directed. Well, the cinematography was well done.
Oh shit, that Scotty.
Because we saw it in IMAX.
Oh man, I'm telling you, guys, go see it in IMAX.
Yeah. So then that whole sequence is finished. Dragonstorm decided to help.
Yep.
The King Arthur's troops and all that, wiped out most of the bad guys.
Oh yeah, he sent Dragonstorm there and he did his number.
Yeah.
Right?
And then they realized they're not alone and they have knights to help them out.
So they formed an allegiance or whatever to keep the staff that Merlin was given, right?
Yep.
Safe.
To keep safe.
And then we jump, what, Scotty? 1,600 years later. Into now? Or like into the now or
the future?
Post-apocalyptic or whatever. And that, Scotty?
Yeah. So we go 1,600 years later, post-Chicago War, post Age of Extinction. It's a lot of things that happen in Dark of the Moon affects all the movies going forward.
Yes.
Because that was like the pivotal of the Transformers movies.
Yes,
everything that went down in that movie affects everything in the future.
The next 2-3 movies.
Yeah. So
this one.
It opens up with the kids going to this stadium. So you want to go see some dead robots?
Chicago Stadium. It's the first one when Prime crashed, Scotty. That's what I think. It's the same stadium from that.
So in the trailers, I didn't like the kids too much. They were annoying as hell.
So don't worry, guys. Don't freak out. The kids are hardly in the damn movie.
They're just there for the maybe 20, not even 20 minutes, 10
5 minutes, I want to say.
Then they meet up with Isabella's character.
Yep, and Squeaks.
And Squeaks. Canopy saves them. And the TRFs are there looking for Decepticons.
Yes.
But in actual reality, they're looking for all Transformers.
That's right. They're hunting them down.
Because they made them illegal on Earth.
Yes, they banned them for some reason.
Yeah, except for Cuba, because Cuba made them legal. And then that's where you get a glimpse.
You knew they were going to have to do something crazy like that, guys, like a safe haven for them.
And then you get the glimpse of Simmons. He's back to replace.
Yes. Before Scotty mentioned it, that whole scene that he was talking about with the TR agents, that's when we seen Mark Wahlberg show up with Bumblebee, and we also seen Lennox. He also showed up in that
Yeah,
scene.
that's where you saw in the international trailer
Yes.
where Bumblebee kind of like
Falls apart.
falls apart. I didn't even know he could do
Scotty,
that.
I'm going to put this as exhibit B or 2 for the people who hate the film.
Mm-hmm.
They ruined it by showing that.
Yeah. Well, it was longer in
Okay?
the movie.
Which
so-
I kind of agreed with that, but you know what? It wasn't the end of the movie. Trust me, there was a lot of other scenes that were cool in the film that didn't show.
Yeah.
Okay, Scotty.
So then Mark Wahlberg surrenders, not really surrenders.
Yeah. And that's the scene that you're talking about. Bumblebee comes in, blazing, falls apart.
Yeah. And then Lennox shows up. He's like, B, this is not what we want. It's
Exactly.
the military or the government. It's how they are.
Mhm.
And Mark Wahlberg's like, you don't have to do that.
Exactly.
You had an alliance with them before, right? You just
You know better in a sense, right?
Yeah. Then after that, I think we go to Optimus Prime. He's floating dead in space. Well, we thought he was dead.
He's in
because-
stasis. Let's just say
he's in
sleeping stasis or
sleep
whatever.
mode. And 3 years it took him to get the Cybertron.
We're assuming because, you
Yeah.
know, it's been since the last film till now.
Yeah, so 3 years in real. We're going in real time that he's made it to Cybertron.
Yeah, he crashes. He somehow lands on Cybertron.
Yeah, he lands on Cybertron and he sees Cybertron like all messed up, all destroyed.
Yeah, he's crying. His planet's destroyed.
Because we got an idea. Because what happened in Dark of the Moon, the planet kind of like made like a swirl when it went back.
Exactly. So it kind of got deformed, I want to say.
Yeah.
And damaged.
And Prime is like, what happened? And he saw Quintessa. He's like, what did you do to our planet? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then Quintessa traps him, electrocutes him.
Mm-hmm.
I think, did she slap him or was that after?
She slaps him.
I said, you want to save your world? I'll show you how to save your world.
Exactly. And then she shows him some, you know, the night story on
Yeah.
the wall and all this crap.
And then she name drops Unicron.
Guys, that's Exhibit C, Scotty. Which that kind of this is probably the
That
most
bothered-
one bothered me the most.
That
from all,
bothered you the most.
because it kind of ruined the climax of the movie. Like I would have loved to hear that information near the end, not almost like I would say what a quarter in, Scotty,
Yeah.
not even.
Yeah. Well, for me,
And the reason why she said that it's Unicron, Earth, another name for Earth is Unicron.
yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah,
That didn't bother me
because you were familiar with it, right, Scotty?
I watched Transformers Prime and Earth was
didn't.
Unicron.
Yeah, see, I'm the G1 enthusiast, if you
You're
want
the
to call.
original.
I'm the other scumbags out there that say, "What the hell did you twist it?" Guys, remember Transformers 1, Bumblebee, he wasn't a V-dub. They made him a Camaro, and we were okay with it after a while with that, right?
Yeah. So
no biggie.
I didn't take no offense to it because I'm open to change.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. You not so much.
No, because Scotty, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh no." A little of that fear that you heard all these morons out there saying that the film sucks, it started to creep in your head. It goes, don't tell me it's going to be bad now. Just that little thought, guys. It's amazing how these little words can whatever.
We also expected this, even in our reactions.
Yep.
We kind of figured that was Unicron. So
We knew it was Unicron, and we knew the damn planet was Cybertron, guys.
Yep.
You guys go back and find it.
yeah, we all knew Cybertron.
Okay, so
also.
Scotty, she slaps you. She convinces him you have to save your planet. The only way to save it is to go to Earth,
and destroy Earth.
destroy Unicron, and by destroying Unicron, you'll be saving your own home planet,
Yeah.
your beloved Cybertron.
Yeah.
And did she call him Nemesis Prime?
No, she never.
yet.
She never called him Nemesis Prime. She slapped him in the face.
Later, she called him Nemesis
yeah.
Prime, right?
I don't remember, but
Yeah, I think she does.
she slaps him. Then you could see one part of his face,
Like red, right?
it
Like a
turns
reddish.
red and then purple. But this is after because it jumps back and forth from Earth into
Yes,
her.
it
but
does.
We're gonna just talk about that scene first because it happens so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "My maker." He said, "My maker, I do,
Yes.
and I shall save Cybertron again." Or blah,
Yeah,
blah,
a lot of the words that you see in that conversation, guys, between Prime and Quintessa, or a lot of the other characters have been sliced and spliced together, that it's out of context, like that my maker and whatever, the conversation is actually a different one. But
Yeah. So we go back to Earth.
Yep.
We forgot to mention that after saving the kids, Mark Wahlberg goes back and to the ship, a crashed
Yes.
ship. He finds a knight, and the knight gives him something like
like a medallion, I want to say.
yeah. Didn't it look familiar?
Talisman, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't it look familiar from Green Lantern's origin?
Yeah,
Take
very
the ring.
similar. And all that. Even the knight looked green.
Yeah. Ooh.
Whatever, man.
Whatever. So he said no, he didn't want it, but
Yeah.
he followed him.
Exactly.
Barricade was following them the whole time.
Barricade looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
like his car mode and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy though.
Yeah. So he was going on a hunt looking for this medallion thing
On behalf of Megatron.
on Megatron, which they never explained why Galvatron turned back to Megatron.
But we can kind of figure that out. I
Yeah.
think Scotty, we kind of figured that, you know what, he wouldn't want that shape that some other idiot created for him. So he's going to go back to his original
Yeah.
look, I guess.
And he was a fight.
Which,
was
that
the
was not big.
character.
Yeah, that wasn't a biggie for
Yeah,
us.
it was no problem. The original voice actor for Megatron is
Frank Welker.
Yep, finally, after missing for 3 movies and then coming back as Galvatron for the 4th one.
I liked him as people were crying that, you know, he didn't kind of suit this. I go, you know what? I think he did a damn good job.
Yeah,
So
he did
I'm
good.
happy with that.
I'd rather have him than Hugo.
Hell
Weaving.
yeah. Big time.
So Barricade goes back to him to report. He's like, listen, the human took it and we got to get
Exactly.
him. He's like, you failed me, blah, blah, blah.
The usual Megatron speech there between him and his minions.
Yeah, so Mark Wahlberg goes back to the junkyard where they're hiding out. And the cop or the officer, chief, whatever, I think called chief.
He called him cheap, but he said he was racist.
That's a little racist.
I would think it would be stereotyping more than anything, guys.
He's like, well, yeah, my cruiser's been stolen again. He's like, oh, that's a bad crime.
Yep.
He's like, cut the crap, go get my car.
Yeah.
And Grimlock was chewing on the car.
That's what you seen in the trailer.
Yep, and then you meet the other character, his associate.
Oh, God.
I don't remember his name.
I don't know. Gerard Michael, the comedian, plays him.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is in there. He's the comic relief in this movie, guys.
Yeah, he's
His assistant. He was hired there to kind of look after the place while Mark Wahlberg, along with Bumblebee, would scour to try and get any surviving Transformers or Autobots and bring them back.
So they were all hiding there. Hound, Drift, Crosshairs.
Yes.
They were all hiding there with a few other
Oh,
Autobots.
Scotty, don't forget the baby Dinobots.
And the baby Dinobots. Where did they come from?
That's what they didn't explain. That was another... Did
So-
Mark Wahlberg create them? Did they just hatch on their own? I don't know.
I'm just going to assume that, remember the beginning of the movie where they were talking about all these Transformers are always kept coming? I'm going to assume that's where...
Yeah, it could be one of those. Who knows? We can put two together somehow.
And we saw Hound transform for the first time.
Which was nice, finally.
Finally, they did learn from that mistake.
Yes, they did. They improved on that, guys, so you can't cry that they don't transform. They don't float together with KSI technology.
They got rid of that, thank God, because that's the one thing I hated about Age of
Big
Extinction.
improvement.
Big improvement. Everyone's got their transformation and one like a single shot. That was good.
Yes, it was.
They were going back and forth in dialogue, and the one Autobot came, the Junkyard.
Yeah.
Who's he voiced by?
Steve Buscemi.
Yes. He came in with a bunch of stuff. He's been traveling all over the States.
Collecting parts everywhere.
Yeah. And guess what he found? He found Starscream's head in Buffalo.
Yeah. So,
How the hell did his head go from Chicago to Buffalo?
Scavenger. It kind of reminds me, Scotty, of the Vulture. Coming up with Michael Keaton's character. So maybe they took a little bit of elements of that. He goes around, he collects things, and he resells parts.
Yeah. So
and makes money.
he comes back with a whole bunch of parts. He finds a voice box for Bumblebee. And Isabella Merner's character, Izzy, she comes... First she was hiding. She was and then she came out and say, "Hey, I'm here." Blah 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 blah. That was no big deal. And she was helping KDA here fix Bumblebee's voice box.
Yes.
And guess who's the voice box? It was Siri. Okay, B, try your new voice. Oh, this is so exciting. Wait, this isn't my damn voice.
That was a funny moment, you know. So they did had some, you know. That's when you put the comedy. That's what I can. The timing is perfect for that. It was funny.
And then he ripped out his voice.
Yeah, because I'm not using this crap.
Yeah. So then what happens after that?
After that, Scotty, he has a nice deep conversation with Izzy character and stuff about his daughter making a phone call and he can't talk to her. Blah blah blah. What would you say? And then we forgot that when Bumblebee left, that first encounter with Mark Wahlberg at that crash scene, Bumblebee was tagged with the transmitter. So that kind of led them. Well, I guess the Transformer team, what are we called?
TRFs.
TRFs, along with Megatron.
Yeah, they made a deal.
But Scotty, tell them about the deal, because you like that scene. I kind of found the introduction with the Decepticons.
You know what? I enjoyed that introduction. So they had to make a deal with the devil, they said. We've done deals with the enemy before. This is no different.
Exactly.
We just have to be careful that he doesn't kill all of us when we're negotiating. So they
Typical.
So they meet up with him in the desert.
That's the scene that you guys seen in there with those stills or pictures with him meeting up with Lennox guys.
Yeah. So he meets with Lennox, and Lennox are there with a bunch of lawyers, and he's like, you know who they kill first? Lawyers. So he talks to Megatron, and Megatron's like, what do you want?
Exactly.
And he's like, I want my crew. We're like, okay, give us the crew.
Yep.
He said Mohawk. They're like, we don't know about him. Like, oh, fine, we'll just give it to him. They said Onslaught. They said Berserker.
And Dreadbot.
Berserker.
Oh, and Zeus. What's that other one?
Zeus, yeah.
Nitro Zeus.
Which one didn't go through?
It was another. I can't even remember. The other one that's related to Berserker. There was another brother. I can't remember.
There's another one. He was too psychotic.
No.
He killed 9 people. he robbed a bank or something like that.
See, Scotty, that's where I can send a little bit. Like, you're gonna say what it is. How the hell did they capture these Transformers? It kind of reminded me of another little film. Scotty, what film am I referring to?
I don't know. What other film?
Suicide Squad. The way they presented them, and with the music and their names splashed on the front there.
I liked that.
I didn't like it. To me, it was like, really, Michael Bay?
I liked it.
So that's Exhibit D or 4, Scotty. Maybe what the haters hate. Maybe that's the part they like in the film. I don't know, because it resembled another film.
I really enjoyed it. I liked it.
I didn't like that, Scotty. I was like, no.
Well, because, I think, don't hate on me, I think Transformers did it better than Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you know what? I think they had less music. That's what, it was less annoying in that sense.
Yeah. So Megatron got his crew.
Yeah.
And then they were going to go hunting for Cade.
So that's when they made a deal with them, and they're both following him to the Junkyard. And from the Junkyard, that's where hell breaks loose. Scotty, tell them.
Yeah. So the TRFs are hunting them down. They're escaping with the other Autobots.
Along with who? Who shows up at the Junkyard, Scotty?
Who shows up?
Megatron and the Decepticons.
Yeah. The Megatron and the TRF show up.
Yep.
Cade and the Autobots are escaping. And as they were escaping on the road, Grimlock pops off from the ground.
With the other Dinobot guys, there's only one other Dinobot in this whole film.
Slug.
The Triceratop one, just in case you guys want to figure out which one that is.
Yeah, Slug. They were fighting the TRFs for like 2 seconds.
Yep, and then they end up going to an abandoned town that Mark Wahlberg has set up purposely, just for this reason. If somebody shows up, they can defend themselves and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, so they're running away from the TRFs. Then that's where they meet up with Cogman.
Yes, because they got chased. The Decepticons, basically, guys, I would say 1/3 or 2/3 of them bite the big one. The Autobots show up and take them out. That's when what do you call those things that fly in the air?
Drones.
The drones showed up. And that's where your buddy Cogman shows up.
So first before they all bite the dust, Megatron sees Squeaks because he actually knocked over something. He picks him up. He saw a Decepticon symbol. That's why I think he didn't kill him right away.
No.
He picked him up.
He called him disgusting though, didn't he?
He's like, disgusting little thing. Are you Decepticon?
He looked like one of those little things you pick up and go, oh, look at this.
Yeah. So and then Izzy comes out. What are you doing? You think I'm afraid of you? Put him down.
Exactly.
And Cade's like, what the hell are you doing? Stop. And he's like, and Megatron says, did he say something? I don't remember.
I don't even remember that. I just remember Squeaks hanging by his little.
And then I think Megatron saw Cade. He's like, oh, there you are.
So yeah.
And then he
pops out
and then puts the explosives and he runs away.
Blows the whole place to smithereens there, killing some of the robots. I think they all survived. It was after we seen what's his name, Mohawk's head.
Yeah, that
flies towards them.
Bumblebee shot.
Yeah, and then that's where two of them get taken out, guys. Cade Yeager gets confronted by those drones.
Yep.
And then Cogman.
And then they go to England. Right? Did I miss something in between? I don't think so.
No. Basically, that's where Cogman confronts Mark Wahlberg, saying, "You know what? We need your presence here and there." So they can go to England. Mm-hmm. So he leaves Izzy behind with Crosshairs and the others and takes Bumblebee with them to go meet up in England. And that's when we jump forward to where we see Vivian
Wembley
in teaching some sort of historic
teaching
whatever
about the knights and how everything was bullshit.
Yeah, she considered it bullshit because of her previous past history with her father.
Yeah. So then they meet up with her character,
Vivian Wembley. Yep. She says, like you were saying, Scotty, that everything is bullcrap because of her previous past history. That we find out that her father had some sort of connection to these same Transformers.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we also get introduced a little bit more to Anthony Hopkins' character,
which he's part of the Witwicky family.
That's right. He's the last descendant, I guess, still alive, because we don't know what happened to Sam. If he's still alive and his father.
Well, he said. Well, someone said, "Are they all dead?" And he's like, "No, not all of them."
Okay, so he's still hinting that his father and Sam is still alive, but we don't know what's going on. They just kind of hinted at stuff.
Yeah.
That's when we go back to her character, Vivian, and she's being questioned about finding someone, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, finding a man, and then they're like, "Woman too." I'm like, "Oh, come on, are you
the
kidding me?"
comedy there, it was just kind of insinuation after another.
Yeah, it was unnecessary comedy in that sense.
And then we take that scene, Scotty. There's a lot of little minor talk back and forth, guys, with her and, the father's room upstairs, blah, blah, blah.
So then she goes to her car to go, I guess, to work. I don't know where she was going.
I think she was just going out.
Yeah. So then the car, which we all know was Hot Rod, popped out a letter.
He was an older car, guys. He wasn't his Lamborghini that you see in the thing yet. He was an older, I want to say Aston Martin, maybe BMG kind of old British car.
Yeah. Excuse me. So they were. She was in the car, and the car started driving. And he's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we gotta go meet up with some guy." I think he said Anthony Hopkins, his character.
There was some funny scenes in that.
Yeah. So then he was driving, and she was losing control. She's like, "Move, move! I don't want to hit you." Mm-hmm. And then Hot Rod changes to the Lamborghini, scans the car, and he's like, "Boy, I love this car."
And that's when he spoke in French, guys, and it drove me bananas.
It didn't bother me.
Exhibit number 5 or 6, maybe people hated the film. I just had to throw that in, Scotty. I just have to laugh about it.
It didn't bother me at all. You hated it. So then they meet up with Sir Edward Burton at his house. I assume is his house, his castle.
His castle, but before that, Mark Wahlberg shows up with B and had that confrontation with that older Transformer in the front.
And Bumblebee's like, "What the hell?"
And that's when you said Vivian shows up with Hot Rod, and you see her kind of like get dumped out from the front, like he spit her out.
Yeah, that was
kind of like that.
So then they meet up in the house. They're talking, and Hot Rod bumps into the window. He's like, she's like, "Oh, look at this! This is a creep." He's like, "Oh, I'm not a creep." He's like, "Oh, you have a French accent?"
Yeah, he was trying to say Hot Rod. You couldn't even make the hell what he was saying, and then Anthony Hot
Rod.
You know what reminds me of that accent? Nightcrawler from the X-Men movies. You know when he's speaking that German and you couldn't quite make out what the hell he's speaking?
Yeah.
I was like,
Root.
It sounded more like German than French. And then I think Anthony Hopkins let out of the bag that he chooses to speak that way, which I was kind of like, okay, thank God, maybe he's not going to speak like this in another film.
Yeah, he's like,
So the king calmed down a little bit.
He's like, he just chooses to speak with a French accent. He looks like, I don't choose.
Bull crap.
Yeah.
And then, Mark Wahlberg got introduced to Vivian's character. Anthony Hopkins is trying to explain the story. The one funny scene, guys, which this is spoiler, so I'm going to say it, is when Mark Wahlberg makes a comment towards Vivian to say she's in a stripper dress, and he just leaps right at him and goes after her.
He lost it. He's going,
that sets up the rest of the movie between his interaction with Cogman and with him being a little psycho.
So they're in London, and
so they continue. Anthony Hopkins begins his story about the Transformers and shows them room after room with all the pictures. Scotty, what we seen? Who do we see on the wall, Scotty?
Sam Witwicky's picture as
Ladies Man
217 from the first Transformers movie.
You should have seen. That was like the highlight of the king. He's like, "Oh damn, there's Sam."
there's his cameo in the picture.
And then we've seen glimpses of the Transformers like drift and different periods of
Ironhide
history
and all that
stuff like that in time, Scotty.
Yeah.
And then they go downstairs where this table is. He explains her connection to the Transformers, and her father was one of these guys. Mm-hmm. And she's a direct descendant of who, Scotty?
Merlin. She's a direct descendant, and she can only one that can wield the staff,
hold, control the power, and end them and save the universe like usual.
Yeah. So after that whole sequence is done, the TRFs and I think Decepticons find them too.
Yep.
They find them in London. Now there's a big ass chase scene in London, and Barricade is chasing Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee just like spits out Mark Wahlberg on his seat and like shoots him to the side.
And Barricade goes boom.
Goes flying. He didn't die or lose any parts. He just got off
shook
balance.
good.
Yeah.
Didn't he, Scotty?
He's like, that's payback for last time.
Yep, exactly.
And then so I don't even remember what happened.
And then from there they're going different. They split up. Anthony Hopkins is talking to Agent Simmons. He's giving information about this book to reveal the last final part of Unicron being connected to the whole thing, and that the reason why Quintessa is doing what she's doing because she needs to repair Cybertron, and it kind of reveals her plan to Anthony Hopkins, which he takes that information. Scotty meets up with Cogman. There's another chase scene there. They end up all meeting up to an area, and then I guess through the different talks, Vivian finds out that they have to go to that old naval submarine place.
museum. They go in there to get into the submarine.
Yeah, with B hitching a ride on top, which we didn't see in the trailers.
So, and then that's where they found that underground spaceship thing. And then Prime, they interact with the Knights.
Yes.
Because they woke up the Knights, like, we have to protect the staff.
Exactly.
And then Optimus Prime shows up for the first time as Nemesis Prime.
Yes, he goes Nemesis. I don't know. She said something, whatever. But anyways, yeah, they're down there, and that's you see all of a sudden you see a couple of Knights. Like, it looks like they were dead, but I guess they're not. Yeah. I don't know.
So Prime comes, he's like, give me the staff.
Meanwhile, Lennox and his team also followed them down there, guys, because they had that tracer on B and whatnot. So everybody's right in the ship, and hell's breaking loose.
So they follow them there. Prime shows up. He's like, give me the staff. I need to save my world. Earth must die.
Yep.
I don't remember if he said Unicron has to die or whatever.
I can't remember either. I don't remember.
But
too much happening in that scene, guys.
So Mark Wahlberg is like, just give it to him. That's Prime. That's not Prime. Just give it to him.
Just give it to him. And then they were saying something that someone has to stand up to him. And they kind of zoomed in on B.
Yeah. And B and Optimus Prime had a big ass showdown.
And yeah, Mark Wahlberg goes, buddy, you got to do something. You got to go back to that World War II Bumblebee that you were and go after Prime.
You know what? The fight between Bumblebee and Optimus wasn't long, but I was invested in it.
No, it looked good. You felt every single punch, every single blow. You're like, oh my God, is Prime going to kill this guy? What's going on? Is he going to survive?
He
came close. He came close.
And then the part in the trailer where...
you don't see?
You don't see, so he gets the sword, hits Bumblebee on the forehead when he puts his mask down.
Yep.
And then B finally spoke.
He spoke because Prime was ready to take his sword and put it right through his chest.
Yeah.
And that's when, like you said, he's like,
Prime, I would die for you. And he's like,
basically,
I'm your friend. I would die for you.
Scotty, reminds you of another movie there?
Batman v Superman.
Martha.
You gotta save Martha.
There you go. That's another one if you want to put it towards the haters' evidence file of hating this movie.
So then Prime snaps out of it.
Yep.
Bumblebee, my friend, what have I done?
Yeah, and he just goes back to normal, guys.
Then the Knights come.
And then it's too late, right, Scotty?
Yeah, they come to beat the living crap out of him. And he's like, there's no point. They're going to kill me anyways.
Yeah, I must die for betraying Cybertron or whatever. Because they accuse them of siding with the traitor Quintessa and da-da-da.
Yeah. So
they're about to? Hold on, Scotty.
They're about to, but Mark Wahlberg, his little thing that's on his arm, transforms his arm into a sword.
Excalibur.
Yeah, and stops it. And guess what? The Knights just stop and they just don't do anything.
Okay, we're at peace now. The guy with the sword.
We found the last Knight. Leave him.
Because I really thought, Scotty, at that point, I thought Prime was going to really be beating so badly that he'll be functioning, but not to do anything. But we know he's at the end of the movie.
So then Megatron, the Decepticons get the staff. They meet up.
They show up.
They show up with Quintessa. They show up to Quintessa. So we have the stuff. Let's get this begin. So all the stuff is going down. Cybertron is starting to form itself again.
Yes, it's sucking apart. It's smashing on Earth, getting some energy power, whatever the hell they were saying. There was a NASA guy involved, was trying to explain to us. We're like, no thanks.
They were more worried about destroying the planet but saving human lives. But whatever.
Guys, I'm telling you, the only thing I would say, Scotty, if I had to say something bad about the last act of the film, that's what I'm going to tell you now. It was too damn long. They didn't need to spend 15 bloody minutes with the Cybertron trying to form itself, or the humans deciding that we got to stop this shit somehow.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of like too long, I think. But then, like Scotty said, they took it to Quintessa, and that's when they gave her the Merlin's whatever.
Yep, then Megatron and all the Autobots were fighting.
Outside, yep.
Yep, and then they go inside, and Prime and Megatron fight.
Big fight scene.
And Megatron is like, we used to be brothers once. And Optimus is like, once.
Yeah.
And just beats the living crap out of him.
He rips off his arm.
He didn't rip it, he sliced it off.
Ooh, yeah, that's right, Scotty. I forgot about that one.
He sliced it off.
Yep.
He kicked him on the side, and he went flying out of
He went through. It kind of like, guys, if you watch the original Transformers movie, it's what Hot Rod did to Galvatron when he threw him right through Unicron and he just went flying out.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of looked like for the King.
Yeah. So then that whole sequence
nod there.
finishes. Quintessa doesn't die. She kind of vaporizes. She just disappears.
We're living a lot of, guys, there's a lot of shit going back and forth. Vivian couldn't grab the staff, the gravitational pull of the thing, because they managed to blow this portion off the rest of Cybertron, but it didn't do anything. She ends up grabbing it, and then she saves pretty much the damn world with Mark Wahlberg's help and all those jokers.
The difference between Dark of the Moon, Cybertron coming, and this one, Cybertron is stuck on Earth's atmosphere. Like, it ain't moving. It's there.
It's just above.
It's just above. And with Dark of the Moon, it just kind of swirled back to its galaxy.
And then the Autobots end up saving the day, and they end up going back on their planet. It still looks a little mangled, right, Scotty?
Yeah, so they're going back to fix it.
And then, Scotty, we thought the movie would end there, right? Because Quintessa just vaporized into nothing.
Yeah.
So now we go to the, I wouldn't call it post-credit scenes.
Yeah, but I guess
near the beginning.
Credit.
It wasn't too far into it. It was just a few little bit, and then it kind of got into, it was showing us scenes as it was rolling, and then, Scotty, you can finish it off there.
So we see a lady, a human walking in the desert, wrapped up with some clothing.
Blue hoodie.
Purple.
Purple. Was it purple dressing?
It was purple.
Okay.
She meets up with a soldier, and she's like, you want to know how we can, you want to kill Unicron?
Oh, no, she said, don't touch him. Doesn't like it.
Don't touch him, he doesn't like it.
And then?
And then she's like, you want to know how you can kill him? Unicron? And then it ends there.
Yep. So that kind of like their hint at a Transformers 6, guys, in a couple of years.
Yep. So next year we're getting the Bumblebee spin-off. The year after we're getting the Cybertron prequel. So what happens to Cybertron before the events, and then Transformers 6.
Exactly. So it leaves us in a good position.
Which I'm totally fine with, as long as they can correct their mistakes in this film.
Okay. So now, Scotty, now that we've finished telling the people at home what happened in the entire film, what did you like about this movie? And then I'll tell you what I kind of liked. And obviously, I kind of pointed out my dislikes throughout the film, that if I had to side with the crazies out there that hated this movie big time, I'll say my likes after you.
Okay. So my likes were they learned from their mistakes with the transformations.
Yes, they did.
So you got
happy about that.
We got a lot of transformations. I loved how they tied human history's past with the medieval times with the current times.
Yeah, because I love that stuff myself.
How they tied history together with World War II, with Bumblebee and all them.
Okay.
Fantastic. The final battle, I liked to a certain point.
Okay.
For me, I didn't feel it was too long.
Okay.
Just the sequences with the Transformers were too short.
Yes, they weren't on screen as often as you would like to.
And when Prime did show up, it was like, holy crap.
Yeah, you felt when Prime showed up, guys, it was like, shit, here's Prime.
So I like the length of the sequence.
Yes.
I just wish there was more Transformer interaction.
Okay.
Less human interaction.
Okay.
Things I didn't like, the comedy, sometimes it just felt out of place.
It was wrong timing.
Yeah.
Like the usual Michael Bay.
Yeah, humans, I wish there was less human characters. I understand what they were doing, but I wish there was less of
So you kind of side with the critics there. There should have been more Transformers in this film?
I side
Even
with
though
them.
the last 3 or 4 didn't have, it wasn't that situation either. It was like the same formula.
I'm only siding with them for the thing that I wish there was more Transformer sequences. That's it.
Okay.
I don't agree with their review. I don't agree with none of that.
Okay, so it wasn't as bad as people are crying about, basically.
It was a
in
good
your
film.
opinion.
It was not as bad as they say it is.
Okay, so now, Scotty, my quick likes fast. I love the introduction of the new characters. I love, like you said, the Transformer lore, how they kind of went back to all the other films and kind of tied up any loose ends, if you want to say so. Gave nods to Shia's character and whatnot. Anthony Hopkins, loved him. I loved his dry, annoying humor.
Too bad.
It kind of reminded the King himself when he was a little bit younger.
Too bad he had to die.
Yeah, that was another part we left out. You guys can watch the film. Guys, honestly, we left so much that you guys don't even know about. Go check it out.
Stupid Megatron.
Love the Knights. Love, what do you call it? Megatron, sick. He looked good. I think really the best that he's been portrayed in any of these films. Who else? I like Mark Wahlberg's character. He did good. He continued what he was like in the first thing. Vivian Wembley, played by Laura Haddock, loved her connection. I love that little like love-hate relationship between those two, because realistically it would have been a boring movie. I like the human element of the story. The only thing, like you said, Scotty, maybe a little bit more. Whatever they mentioned or kind of like felt like name dropping, they didn't kind of like explore a little bit more, or explain a little bit. They did that whole Hitler Nazi scene thing there with B a little bit, and it only lasted what, Scotty, 2 minutes?
Yeah,
done.
2 minutes.
But yeah, like you said, more the action is like typical Michael Bay, so that's what I felt. Overall, people wanted a different direction, Scotty, and they got it in this film. I can tell you right now, even though it was produced and directed by Michael Bay, to me personally, it didn't feel like it belonged with the rest of the films. It was different. To me, like Scotty, I think I told Scotty before we started this, it felt like an action adventure film
with Transformers,
with a little bit of Transformer elements here and there, kind of like what they did with Logan.
Yes.
It was an X-Men movie or comic book movie, but it didn't feel that way. It just felt like...
It felt like a Western.
Exactly, with a little bit of X-Men elements to it.
Yeah.
Same exact thing, but you guys didn't hate on that, Scotty. Mm-hmm. They wanted to hate on this film, but overall, it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's great or fantastic in any shape, form, whatever. No, dislikes, like, I listed them out throughout our review, Unicron and all this nonsense, Scotty.
It wasn't the best in the franchise, but
no.
Hey.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the greatest, and it wasn't the worst. I can tell you right now.
So we're gonna do our rankings.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first.
You go ahead, Scotty.
Number one, for me, is still Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
The second is The Last Night.
Okay.
I thought it was just a little bit better than Extinction.
Okay.
So it's Dark of the Moon, The Last Night.
Okay.
I would say Age of Extinction, and then the first Transformers, and then Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay. For me, Scotty, number one is still Shia. Number one, the first Transformer film. Second is Dark of the Moon. Loved it, even though I hated Carly. The character sucked to me.
Yeah.
The third one, Scotty, I would have to pick The Last Night. Mm-hmm. The fourth one, Age of Extinction. And then the fifth one will be the second Transformer one.
Yeah. So
what do you give this as an overall, if you give it a rating or a ranking out of 10? Scotty, what do you give this film?
I enjoyed it a lot, except for little things that I nitpicked here and there.
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8.
You give it an 8? So it stayed the same from when you walked out of that theater?
Yeah.
For me, Scotty, was a little different.
Yeah, no, it's staying at 8.
You stayed at 8? Okay, like I said before, I told you how I felt about the film. When I walked out of the theater, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. From sleeping over and actually processing everything properly, guys, I'm going to give this a 6.5, Scotty, just because of what I mentioned and not. And it was slightly less better than, I don't know, I felt like at some elements of Age of Extinction, I think I found more interesting because it kind of seemed to follow more of the path. This was different.
With Age of Extinction, I felt more annoyed.
Than
I did with Last Night.
Okay.
So I wasn't annoyed as much with The Last Night than I was Extinction.
Okay.
Because there's certain parts of Extinction where I got annoyed. Like,
well, the Dinobots pissed me off. I can tell you right now.
The Dinobots didn't piss me off. It's the whole Hong Kong sequence when they were running around the city with the seed and they were hunting each other. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it lasted too long.
Yeah, that annoyed the hell out of me.
Really?
But I enjoyed
the rest of it. So The Last Night for me was better than Age of Extinction a little bit. Not a whole lot, because I think I give Age of Extinction, I think it was like a 7.5 or something like that. Okay.
So The Last Night for me was a little bit better than Age of Extinction. All right, so that's it for us.
That's it, guys. Go watch the film. Don't listen to these jokers.
Don't listen to them because, like I said, we don't know what they're smoking. They're not smoking.
No, it's not anything. A bad film, guys. I'll tell you right now. It's not a great one.
It's not great.
It's a decent one to go and spend your money and see what the hell is up.
It's not great. It's not bad. It's in between.
They totally reset the franchise. If they wanted to start over and start fresh, they did it in this film, in my opinion. It's not like the other Michael Bay films.
Yeah. So, if you guys like the spoiler review, hit a like, share, subscribe. Yeah. Leave your comments on if you thought if Last Night was good or not.
Yeah.
Either way, let us know in the comments. Check out our Civil Canadians episode 46.
It's going to drop today.
Today or tomorrow. We'll see.
Depending on how we are. And guys, don't forget to check out 31 for my non-spoiler Transformer 5 reaction and other content as well.
All right, guys. Until then, see you soon. Be good.
And go watch it.